What if the avoidant was your last chance to avoid yourself? I'll say it again. What if the avoidant was your last chance to avoid yourself? Welcome back to Clarity Bites, where we stop romanticizing emotional unavailability and start changing the patterns that keep us stuck in unhealthy love and tied to toxic partnerships. I'm Sarah Christine, relational pattern architect and hypnotherapist, and I help men and women just like you break free from patterns of pain that have been ruling your life. So I've been away for several weeks dealing with a really profound personal loss, and I'm not going to go too deeply into that today, but it's given me a lot of time to think and a lot of time to reflect. And today I had this profound realization that I wanted to share just like as soon as I could, because it stopped me in my tracks. I'm going to say it again. What if the avoidant was your last chance to avoid yourself? Now, this isn't about victim blaming. I want you to hear me out, so listen to the end to get all the nuggets of wisdom in this video. So maybe even more uncomfortable of a truth is, what if the avoidant became your last excuse not to heal? So I'm not saying that the avoidance behavior didn't hurt. I'm not saying that that relationship was healthy. And I'm not even saying you caused it. I'm saying there's a reason your mind has stayed so intensely focused on that person, on that one person out of 8 billion people. So there's this sort of endless investigation, right, of the avoidant that we do, that our mind does. These just looping cycles that we go into, this rumination that every single one of my clients has talked about. And we go into this story of, why did they leave? Did they ever even love me? Did they ever mean anything they said? Was it all a lie? Did I make it all up in my head? Are they ever coming back? Are they happier with the new person? Was I too much or not enough? Are they dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant? Maybe I'm the avoidant. What stage of the breakup are they in? When do avoidants feel regret? Etc., etc. Now notice where all of your attention is going. Back to that person, outward, external focus. And we're so clever, our minds are so clever, our subconscious minds, because they're trying to protect us from the very thing that could actually heal us. So you can understand the avoidance attachment style, their childhood, their nervous system, their deactivation strategies, their relationship history, their favorite sexual position, their favorite cereal, I don't know. None of those things matter, because you can still know almost nothing about why you participated in this dynamic. The avoidant becomes the perfect distraction to our own pain and our own healing process. And I know this, guys, because I've lived it. So if you're new to the channel, take a look, dive into the history of my videos, become a member. I want you to understand that I've lived this. I married and divorced a dismissive avoidant as a fearful avoidant myself. I am now a healing fearful avoidant. I'm in recovery. But when you're avoiding yourself, an emotionally unavailable person gives you an endless project to focus on. And what people don't understand is, if you're constantly attracted to emotionally unavailable people, you are unavailable yourself in some way, shape, or form. Why is this a project? Because there's always a puzzle piece to solve. There's always something to win, something to understand, something to compete for, something to wait for, something to prove, something to grieve, etc., 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 something to ruminate on. And therefore, as long as I'm trying to figure out why you did what you did, or why you won't choose me or commit fully to this relationship, then I don't have to ask why I keep abandoning myself to be chosen. And this is where I always say, insight's important, but insight isn't the same thing as change. You can understand and watch all the podcasts, watch all my videos, read all the books, go to all the seminars, and you can still stay stuck. Because you can understand your attachment pattern and still keep repeating the same relationship. I call it the fun house of mirrors, where you're dating the same person in different bodies over and over and over, until you finally decide to look within and take accountability of your relationship history. So that's why the work that I do goes beneath the conscious mind. So if you're ready to actually change the pattern instead of just understanding it, You'll find information below about working with me privately. And if you just want to start on your own, I have a freebie, okay, Stop the Spiral. And I have several downloadable hypnosis audios designed to help you interrupt the spiral, break free, regulate your nervous system, and begin changing those patterns at the subconscious level. So it's all linked below, including my course, Finding Love Again, for anybody that ever wants to find love again. Because guys, look, eventually, again, I've lived it. You have to stop studying the pattern and start embodying the actual shift. All right, now here's where things are gonna get uncomfortable. So if you're here, stay tuned. Instead of asking, why were they emotionally unavailable? I want you to start asking yourself, why did emotional unavailability feel so good, feel so compelling or so magnetic to me? Why did it feel like love? Why did it feel like being chosen? And why did I keep going back to someone who wasn't giving me, probably could never give me what I needed and what I deserved? Why did I accept crumbs of affection or attention? Maybe questions, pause, maybe rewind, write those down, and really be honest with yourself. Here's some more. Instead of why couldn't they reassure me, ask, why did I remain somewhere in some relationship that I had to continually beg for reassurance or clarity? This is putting everything back internally on you, because this, guys, is your power. You're giving your power away by focusing on them. So instead of why wasn't I enough, I hear this question all the time. Why wasn't I enough? Where did I learn that love is something that has to be earned? Where did I learn that? And I'm going to tell you where. It was in your childhood. Was it from mom, or was it from dad, or another caretaker? Where did I learn that? And then how can I start to unlearn that and unravel from that tremendous pattern of pain? Here's another one. Instead of why did they leave me, right? Notice the victim in that. Why did they leave me? Ask yourself, why did I keep leaving myself while trying to prevent them from leaving me? You have to self-abandon to stay with an avoidant. Let me say it again. You have to self-abandon on some level to stay with the avoidant. Now, I want to talk about childhood just briefly and generational patterns, but I'm not going to get too clinical in this brief video. But maybe monitoring someone else's emotional status or patterns used to keep you safe. Maybe love meant earning approval, getting that nod of approval from mom or dad. Or maybe unpredictability became familiar. So your nervous system attaches that and says, that's love, that's acceptance. Or maybe you learned that other people's feelings mattered more than yours, that you had to dim your light in some way or not show your pain. Because adulthood didn't necessarily create the wound. In fact, I'm telling you it didn't. The source of the wound is in childhood. But adulthood gave the wound someone to attach itself to. So how did the avoidant become your excuse not to heal? Let's talk about that for a minute. At some point, the avoidant may have stopped being the reason you were hurting and became the reason you didn't have to heal. Guys, this is like subconscious deep work here. So if it's not registering consciously, or you're feeling triggered or even upset or angry, that's a good thing. Keep on watching. Because healing stayed conditional. I'll heal when I get closure. I'll heal when I finally understand why they did this. I'll move on when they apologize, when they take accountability, instead of taking accountability for yourself. I'll feel worthy when they regret losing me. I'll be okay when I know that they really did love me. And I'll finally let go, once again, when I understand the why. And let me tell you something, you're never going to understand the why with an avoidant. It's not going to happen. They are not going to offer up that reassurance. They don't even know why. They're not that deep. But every one of those sentences hands your healing back to the person who hurts you. So I want you guys to be careful that learning about avoidance doesn't become another sophisticated way of staying attached to one or many or several. Eventually keeping them at the epicenter of your love story with yourself becomes another form of self-abandonment. And I'm all about breaking free from self-abandonment, because your first love story has to be with yourself. So here's what healing actually looks like from the inside out. The goal is not getting better at spotting avoidance. They're out there, especially after the age of 40. They are in the dating pool. They are definitely online, okay? because they're on those dating sites. Refrain. It's not about memorizing attachment theory, becoming emotionally armored. I'll never love again. That's not living, right? It's never about never loving deeply again. What a boring life. What an empty life. The goal is their avoidance becomes uninteresting to your nervous system. So that you meet one in public, you meet one in the flesh, in the wild. You see an avoidant in the wild, you're like, ugh, no thanks. Right? So that you start being attracted to secure people. So ambiguity stops feeling magnetic, inconsistency from that person stops feeling romantic. When are they going to call? So it's not romantic. Stop putting your life on hold for someone. Distance stops creating pursuit. You don't pursue, you accept the distance. You accept it for what it is. And being rejected stops initiating an audition, a competition. And someone withholding love or attention or affection stops making you work harder for it. You just accept it for what it is. Healing isn't about becoming so good at understanding avoidance or attachment styles or emotional unavailability so that you can finally win one over, guys. That's not what this channel is about at all. Wrong channel. Healing is no longer needing to do that. Boom, right? Light bulb moment. So maybe this person wasn't the love of your life that you thought they were. Maybe it was just attachment. Maybe they were the relationship to break you open, to wake you up, that finally made your pattern of pain impossible to ignore. Hear me out. That allows you to broaden beyond what you thought was possible of this relationship. The nuggets of wisdom, right, coming from this relationship. Thank you, teacher. The avoidant was your mirror, your catalyst, the final repetition of the pattern. But it's time. If you're here watching to this point, it's time to break free. That's the relationship that finally made you say, I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep hurting myself like this. And that means that they don't have to remain the villain or become your soulmate. They can simply become the place where the pattern finally ended. And you can exhale. You can finally exhale. Think about what that would mean. The place where the pattern finally ended. Thank you, teacher. So maybe the question was never, why did the avoidant avoid me? Maybe the real question is, what have I been avoiding in myself and why? What have I been avoiding in myself and why? Sit with that, meditate on that, write about that. And if I could no longer use the avoidant as my reason not to heal, then what would healing actually require of me now? If I can't use them as the excuse to no longer heal, because they're gone, what would healing actually look like for me? What would that require of me? Because that's the work I care about now, not endlessly analyzing the other person, but changing your subconscious pattern, the one that makes these kind of relationships feel familiar to your nervous system in the first place, that makes it feel like love or soulmate. So if this hit you directly in the gut, and I'm guessing it did, don't just ask yourself, why did the avoidant avoid me? Or why did they leave? Or why did they choose someone else? Or why wasn't I enough? Ask yourself what you've been avoiding and you. What are you avoiding in here? And if you're ready to finally stop repeating the damn pattern, this is the work that I help people do every single day. You'll find all the ways to work with me, as well as my downloadable hypnosis audios and my course, Finding Love Again. It's all linked below. But more than anything, guys, more than anything, I want you to leave with this. The goal is not to understand them better. It never was. The goal is to become someone who no longer abandons themselves in order to be chosen. If any of this resonated, let me know in the comments below. What did this relationship force you to finally see clearly about yourself? And remember, change the pattern, change your life. I'll see you next time. Thank you.